Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are rocking and ready to roll. Nick Geddes from On3 Sports joining me here this morning. What's up, Nick? How are you?
I am doing great here on this Thursday, especially coming off this almost sounds disrespectful, a rare Rays win. Rays victory, obviously. Got to take those in, but
yeah, you take every one you can get, but
take every single one you can get. But no, realistically, yesterday was one of those days where reality set in, where the NBA finals are over. The NHL finals obviously had the off day.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, it's a little barren.
Thank God for college baseball.
Thank God for college baseball. And actually, and I know you don't get into it, and that's such a shame, but thank God for soccer. Have you seen the soccer schedule for today?
Yeah, that's the Euros going on, right?
The Euros are on today. So there's a game right now, Slovenia, Serbia, and Denmark and England at noon.
You're not interested in Slovenia and Serbia.
Well, hold on. Denmark and England at noon.
Okay.
And then 3 o'clock, Spain versus Italy, some heavy hitters. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, the Copa America starts, which is like the Euros for North America, South America. Argentina, Messi, taking on Canada. So the Copas start. And the United States is about to start playing, I think, tomorrow or this weekend, their first game. So
hide your eyes.
Huh?
Hide your eyes. Hide your eyes. How bad is it going to be? I think it's interesting. I mean, you get smoked by Colombia last week, 5-1. Then they played a couple of good games.
They played well against Brazil.
Yeah, and played well against Brazil. Do we have all of our contingent playing in this?
Yeah, we got our full squad in this one, but it's all come down to the coach. It's all going to come down to the coach, as you know.
Berhalter.
Yeah,
we definitely need to talk a little Copa. I am interested in that because we're leading up to the World Cup. So this is a big deal. This is a big tournament for them, is it not?
Yes, this is a huge.
It's the biggest tournament before the World Cup.
Yeah, it's the second biggest tournament they're going to end up playing in, other than the World Cup. Like I said, this is the Euros version of North and South America.
It's a big deal.
Big deal.
And the Euros is a big deal. I have watched a little bit of that. That's kind of like a mini World Cup going on right there because obviously the great teams are in Europe, centered in Europe. And who is favored to win? I read that England is
England is.
They always choke. They haven't won a big tournament since like 1966, right?
Yeah, they have not won a big tournament since 1966, and yet they are somehow the favorites. They were the betting favorites coming into the World Cup.
They're the New York Yankees of soccer.
The Yankees at least have a lot of.
They're Montreal Canadiens.
They're the Maple Leafs. They're the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Of soccer.
They get the most pub to do jack squat
and have so much talent, much high-end talent, and they never can make it work. But it's the normal suspects. It's England. Portugal's a big one. Germany's the host country, so they got that on their side. Spain, Italy's the defending champion, so it's going to be probably one of those countries if I had to guess. And France.
All right, that's that our soccer talk for the day. Are we done with that now?
Yeah, you can finally move on. But
no, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in Copa. Who do we play first?
Bolivia. Bolivia. So it should be okay against Bolivia.
Great caviar, not good at soccer.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Like, is that? Yeah, I don't know. All right. So and then we're in like a pool stage.
It's the same thing every tournament. There's like a little group stage and everything.
Who's in our group?
I think they have to play the toughest. I think it's Uruguay. I think they're in a group with Uruguay. So USA is the second best team in their group. So it's USA,
where are these
Bolivia,
games
Uruguay. Here in the U.S.
Okay. All right. Any near here? Any games in Florida?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'll figure that out, though.
I would go see a Copa America game. I would go see one. That would be fun. And maybe especially if they get into the knockout rounds. Well, let's look that up. See where
the USA's group. I got it. USA, Uruguay, Bolivia, and Panama. It looks like the closest game. There's actually one there's Orlando and Miami. So
there you go.
So there is some games here.
All right. I would go see. Yeah, I'd go see a game in Orlando. at that crappy camping world stadium, whatever it is. All right, let's get into. By the way, we got Jane Geddes is going to join us for our weekly golf topics as we break down the U.S. Open finish. We talked to Bryson DeChambeau and technology versus feel. Jane will also give us a little putting tip for making short putts, since that's been a little bit of the topic in the golf world these days. I saw. By the way, we'll do that at 11:15. I was record that with Jane earlier, so we'll do that at 11:15. We're gonna hear from Baker Mayfield. We got some sound from Jack Caglione, and also James Tibbs, the two MVPs for their respective teams at the College World Series, Florida State and Florida. So we'll get into that as well, and we'll hear from Baker Mayfield as well, and Kevin Cash. So we got lots to get to today. So we'll jump right in with the Rays from last night. I was going to say about short putting and Rory McIlroy. So I don't know if you saw this, but Shane Lowry put up a post on Twitter basically saying, hey, lay off Rory. This is a hard game. It's been a tough week for him. It's really, and I'm like, okay, I get it. From a golfing perspective, that's tough. It's really hard to handle. I get it. But it's like, come on, man. Again, this is golf. He walked away with $2.8 million. All right. It's tough from a career standpoint. I get it. But I'm not going to, shed a whole lot of crocodile tears for Rory McIlroy. Take some time off. That's great. Get back on the horse and let's go. It's freaking golf. You missed a couple of short putts. It happens. Did you choke? And I'm not sitting here saying they're easy. They're not. And Jane talks about that later on in the show. Well, they're not. They're hard, especially with that much pressure. We get it. But, let's just keep it all in perspective. It's golf. You won $2.8 million.
He'll live. He's going to be fine. He's going to take his 3 weeks off, and he'll come back for the Scottish. It'll be okay.
Can you imagine the resort that he's crying at right now? Imagine the breakfast they gave him in bed this morning, and maybe an extra cloth to wipe the tears. Can you imagine I can't even imagine the pain.
I mean, listen, I don't know what it's like to have $2 million for coming in second at the
being first loser.
For being first loser and everything, and I'm sure that helps maybe a little bit. But we're all having fun with it. But we know how much Rory's a prideful. He's a prideful player.
Yeah, and I'm internally grateful for the stand that he took for the PGA Tour versus the LIV, and for that alone, he will always be one of my favorite golfers.
By the way,
ever.
where he took the stand for the PGA Tour,
yeah,
and he wasn't even the fan favorite going up against the face of LIV. It's like completely flip flopped.
That pissed me off. That really pissed me off. That's some really short-sighted shiz right there for the fans. Going USA, when he's standing over that, 3-foot putt that he needed to get into a playoff, by the way, if Bryson were to bogey. So that was crappy. Like, you guys suck. The fans, that was bad. That was really bad. So I don't know. Yeah, that was not our finest moment as American golf fans or golf fans in general. We're better than that. But again, let's keep it all in perspective. He'll be fine. And, it just makes for more drama when he tees it up at the British. Let's go. It'll be more fun. Let's see how Rory's going to screw this one up. But I'm rooting for him. I'll root even more for him now, right? It brings up more drama.
It just adds more to the redemption arc story.
Exactly. Thank you.
It just adds more B-roll. There you go.
That's right.
More B-roll to throw in the film.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to last night's fantastic Rays game. You admit to the folks what happened to you last night. Admit to the folks. Come on.
I had a long work day yesterday, and I sat down to watch the Rays, and just I don't know, just one of those nights where I just was not really into watching baseball. I had already watched the FSU game and everything earlier, which didn't go so well.
Frustrating.
A little frustrating.
Really frustrating to watch.
I watched a real exciting soccer game in the morning while I was working, and I had that going. And then I tuned into the Rays, and it sounded dead. Nobody was scoring, nobody was hitting, and it got in 8th and the 9th inning. The Rays stranded 6 runners on base, and it went to 6 runners on base, bases loaded twice, did not get a run home, and it went to extra innings. And I literally said, "I can't. I'm done." I went to bed.
You missed it.
I went to bed, and I said, "I would rather
the exciting finish.
I would rather go to sleep and then just wake up in the middle of the night and turn over and check my phone to see how they won." And that's what I did. And then when I saw how they won, I was like, "That's par for the course, isn't it?" So I admit it. I fell asleep before the Rays' epic walk-off victory on the road in Minnesota.
It was about 73 miles per hour off the bat. The game-winning hit.
Real screamer.
Yeah, by Johnny DeLuca. Well, so first of all, it starts with Taj Bradley last night. Did not have his best stuff, but got through it with 2 runs. So tip of the cap to Taj, who came up with some big pitches and some big moments. And I really like his growth arc this year. I think that's probably top 3 stories for me for this Rays team this year is watching him mature. We knew he had the stuff, and this is a perfect season for him to just kind of control his emotions. He's still 22 years old,
23, just turned 23 years old.
Just turned 23. Still super young, but the stuff just plays so well. Once he learns to control it and his emotions and be a little bit more consistent on the mound, we've said this, and now you're starting to see this. When you can go out against a good hitting team like the Twins, by the way, and give up 2 runs when you have your C- stuff, that is a great sign. So Taj, I thought, pitched really. He was that was a gutsy effort from him last night. The bullpen did their job for the most part. Even Maton came on in the 9th.
Got a save, I saw.
Yeah, he did. Got a save last night in a tough situation in extra innings when you have the gifted runner. So bases loaded in the 8th. Yandy comes up and hits a screamer, 108 off the bat to left field. That Martin jumps up and catches, leaps up at the last second and makes the catch. So at least Yandy got the bat on the ball, had a good at bat.
I was gonna say, I mean, they did strand 6 runners on base, and at the end of the day, you want to see them get the run home. But Minnesota, talk about just beefing up and playing good defense, or manning up rather, playing good defense. They made some incredible plays there. Like there was another one that was ripped to short. Guy made a great play and threw about at third.
God, what a throw that was!
Oh my goodness! I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah, there was 3 or 4 outfield catches that were just off the charts. Minnesota's a good baseball team. They are a good baseball team, and like the way they're constructed. Rocco, obviously, a really, really good manager. That team reminds me of what the Rays used to be, right? Like that, they're smart. They play really good, sound defensive baseball. By the way, Joe Ryan was on the mound, who we gave up for Nelly Cruz. Yeah,
you got to bring that up. Why'd you got to bring that up?
Yeah.
See, but we're not allowed to really, bang the Rays.
But we win every trade.
We're not allowed to really bang the Rays on that because the process was correct, I thought, with that trade. But Nelson Cruz decided he was cooked when he got into a Rays uniform. So.
After being able to hit till 75 years old.
Yeah, literally being an all-star.
He comes to the Rays.
He was an all-star for the first half of that year in Minnesota, and then he puts on a Rays uniform, gets inside the trop, and says, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, so that was. You're right. You can't, but man, there's another arm we'd love to have back. And then Jose Siri. And I know he's played some good baseball lately, but sometimes he's just such a knucklehead. So he's the ghost runner, the gifted runner, whatever you want to call it, in the 10th inning. Arozarena gets hit by a pitch, so it's 1st and 2nd now. Next pitch goes to the backstop, and he breaks for 3rd, as he should. Ball comes off the bricks right to the catcher. So a little fortuitous there. But he's not prepared to slide. Like, there's a few things you can do. You have a lot of time off in baseball. There's a lot of time between pitches, and you don't have to make a lot of snap decisions. You should think through everything right before the play starts. That's what the little league coach tells you, right? Do everything. Just be Be a smart baseball player. Don't make mental errors. You really shouldn't. And to not slide in that instance, and I understand, okay, so the ball comes right back to the catcher. So what? So freaking what? How are you not sliding? How are you standing up and just getting tagged out because you overrun the base in that situation? And we'll hear from Kevin Cash, but I know he's not prone to ripping his players. But my God, come on, dog. And that's going to be a huge play in this game. A huge play in this game, except for the fact that we have a dribbler to third. Royce Lewis spikes it into the ground. Rosarena keeps running, and he stole second, by the way. Randy's starting to play some really, really good baseball. So get his trade value up. Let's go. Right. And so he scores the winning run, and then Maton comes on and closes the deal. So they get the win. But again, not clean baseball, not what you want to see from the Rays. They need to be better than that, but they got the dub. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it truly is a double-edged sword. I mean, you take the win, and they need whoever they can get them at this point. You take them, especially against good teams, because let's be fair, like we said, they just struggle to beat good teams. And this Minnesota's good team came in, I think, 9-1 in their last 10, so red hot. But yeah, even when they win games, you still are left scratching your head a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then even the way they win the game eventually because of an error, like we talked up about Minnesota's defense, and then ironically, right there in the 10th inning, that's where it just completely unravels. I mean, that looked like a standard play, just ground ball to short, first, but the Rays will take it. You mentioned it, like Randy Rosarena. I'm starting to see some encouraging signs from him. I think he's on a 5-game hit streak at the moment.
Yep.
Doesn't necessarily change how I feel about his season or his status with the Rays. I still think he's going to be the number one trade chip for you. And so whatever he does to improve his numbers, that helps the Rays. I know he was a little quiet last night, but even Brandon Louse, he's starting to hit home runs again. He's still been, I think, the best hitter for the Rays since he came back off the injured list. So encouraged he signed there. And then Taj Bradley, you mentioned it a little bit. Like, I love outings like last night, especially at a young pitchers. Like, we get so blown away by, like the game against Boston before it unraveled when he struck out the first 7 guys or 8 guys, whatever it was. And you see he has his stuff, his A stuff, and that's great. But I hear so many pitchers talk about all the time, like former pitchers, like, their best outings are the ones where they go out there, they don't have their stuff, but they're able to battle through 6, give up a run or 2. The strikeout numbers were down yesterday. Yeah, he sprinkled some hits. I think he gave up 7 or 8 hits through 6, but he was able to keep the pitch count to a manageable number, get through 6, give your team a chance, exited the game in a 2-2 with it 2-2. And I like to see that from a young guy. To me, that's a sign of maturity in a pitcher. And if I can make a comparison, like you compare him and Ryan Pepio, who are the 2 guys that we're really keeping an eye on for the future.
Yep.
I feel like Ryan Pepio, the way he's been pitching lately, kind of reminds me of Taj Bradley last year. We're really kind of ironing out a lot of kinks, and he's getting his first, extended time in the majors. And now you're seeing Ryan Pepio go through those ups and downs, essentially. Yeah. Whereas Taj Bradley went through that last year, and this year he's come back, and he looks like a completely different pitcher. So,
but Pepio's
he's trending. But Pepio's good. You can tell Pepio's got his stuff, but you probably are going to see the best of Pepio next year.
Right, exactly. Next year, which is what this team should be pointing towards, and years after, and that's why Randy becomes expendable, Yandy becomes expendable in my book. Everybody's expendable in my book, except Josh Lowe, Taj Bradley, Pepio. That's it.
Paredes.
Short list. Parade. Yeah, Paredes. Yeah, he can play first base. Make room for Junior. So that's all doable. That's all doable. I tell you what, you look across the league and some of the players that the Rays have given away in the past few years. Joe Ryan being one of them. There's a lot of catchers too. There's a few catchers that have been on our roster that are sprinkled throughout the league that are pretty damn good. Way better than anything the Rays are working with. And that's been a blind spot for this team. How can
that's always been for like 25 years, save a few,
since Toby Hall.
Toby Hall had some solid years. Deanna Navarro had 1 year. Wilson Ramos had 1 year.
Buster Posey.
We took Mike Zunino for granted a little bit. He
Yes,
gave us
we
what?
did.
What did he give us? 4, solid-ish years.
Yeah.
Where 1 year, it was the 1 year where he hit 33 bombs, where he was great.
Yeah.
And maybe at the plate, other than that, he wasn't so great. But behind the plate, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah, which I'll take. We have none of that now. None of that. And haven't been able to develop a catcher in the entire franchise history, or at least the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's so down bad that they have to continue to trot Alex Jackson out there.
Crazy.
Half the week. And
I mean, Rortvedt can hit. He's shown that okay. Yeah. I mean, compared
240.
to
240 compared to 050 is.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear from Kevin Cash after last night's huge win over the Twinkies.
All right, first of all, I guess that's kind of an odd game. You guys left the bases loaded twice, but you ended up coming out with the W. How do you kind of sum this one up?
Yeah, it was an odd game. I mean, tough for us to score. Their pitching did a really good job. Right there at the end, that was a really frustrating moment with Jose and the ball ricocheting right back to Vasquez. But it happens. But glad that we pulled it out. A lot of good things. I mean, we did, Taj highlighted by Taj. And then we had some big at-bats to get guys on base, put pressure on them, and didn't really knock the cover off the ball, but we found a way to score there at the end. I mean, Yandy's, the line out to left was pretty unfortunate as well.
I was going to say there at the end, the Twins kind of gave you guys a little bit of a gift when Lewis spiked the ball. Randy stole second, then eventually came home. What'd you see there? What was your vision?
Yeah, I mean, look, late in the game, those plays are crucial in the moment, and when Randy gets to the extra 90 feet with a stolen base, it puts himself in a position to where if an error like that happens, we can capitalize. So fortunately, it worked for us.
You mentioned Taj Bradley. He's worked his way around a lot of scattered hits tonight, only giving up a couple runs. What did you see from him?
I thought he was really good. I mean, we talk about when maybe, I'm not going to say he didn't have his best stuff, but he wasn't as crisp maybe as he was against Chicago. And, you're not going to be like that every single time. So you got to battle through it a little bit. And he made some big pitches. And when he came out of the game, he was pretty pumped. So he should have been pretty proud of himself because they didn't make it easy. That offense is really talented over there.
It seemed like you guys had a couple things go against you, like you say, the ball Yandy hits, the Siri play, and then just to kind of stick with it and finally get something to go your way toward the end there, just kind of persistence.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy that we were able to come through. We got to find ways to score some more runs, though. There's no doubt. And so leaving 11 guys on, we're better offense than that. I'm happy that we won the game, but the guys know we got to score.
You're pushing all the buttons and pulling all the levers there in the last 3 innings. What is that? What kind of experience is that as a manager when you know you've got pinch hitters, you've got pinch runners, you've got all these different opportunities to have an impact on the game?
You hope it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but you hope it works. I mean, look, we're fortunate that we got a pretty versatile roster of guys that can go and play different spots. We got some good team speed late in those tight ball games where speed becomes a factor. And, our bullpen did a pretty tremendous job of giving us an opportunity to continue to, find that one run to scratch and claw across.
Phil Maton at the end, to see him bounce back tonight. Was that nice to see?
Yeah, very happy for Phil. I mean, that was a good outing. Mixed his pitches well, landed early strikes, and then kind of built off that. The first 2 at-bats to get that first pitch out on Lewis was big, and then the 3 or 4 pitch at-bat with Kepler was huge too.
And that Siri play is totally random bad luck there with the ball bouncing off the backstop like that.
Nothing you can do about that. Nothing. That stunk.
You can slide.
Thank you.
All right.
What am I missing there? And James says I didn't see this part because I'll be honest with you, I went back and watched a lot of the game, and then I had to do something else. Boards and tears. He acted like a clown in the dugout after he got thrown out for not sliding. I'm sorry. I get it. The bounce came right back to him, but how you slide, you're safe. You slide. Watch the play. It came right back to him. Slide. What? Am I wrong here?
I mean, in general, I probably would have not even taken the risk. Like, I wouldn't have even gone. Like, now I know maybe I'm asking too much to be like, okay, that it's like brick behind home plate. So obviously,
no, you got to go pass ball on you got to go. You got to be on your toes, ready to go. That ball, as soon as that ball gets past the catcher, you're gone. And with his speed, there's no way they're going to get you, even if it bounces right back to you.
If you're going to go, I agree with you. You probably should slide.
Probably.
I got that. But listen, little things like that sum up the Rays this season. Like they do not execute the minor details of a baseball game.
No.
And the minor details of a baseball game
used to.
oftentimes are the difference between winners and losers. And the Rays
games, they certainly are.
As the Rays were yesterday and through a lot of their wins this year, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate to get where they are. Like we've been saying, they're sitting at 36 and 39 right now, I believe. Like they are so lucky they're not 10 games worse than what they are, honestly.
Yeah. With the numbers that they put up, generally, yes. Yes, absolutely 100%. All right. So, by the way, was your birthday yesterday?
It was not my birthday yesterday. I'm not sure what Rick is on about in the comments there.
I was like, wait, no, I don't think so. But you did have a few Busch Lights.
Well, Lonnie was asking me if I had my if I was going to pound some real American beer in honor of the Copa Americas, and
okay.
I got a little mini fridge here in my office, and there's stocked with Busch Light. It's ready to go.
Nothing says Copa America like a 6-pack of Busch Light.
Correct.
Listen, I for a long time I was very much a snobby European beer because I thought domestic beer was just ass for the most part, because it was, Budweiser. It just they started making it so bad with so many, mass produced. Back in the day, the old Miller High Life was nice, and a Natty Light was nice. It was good. Then they started pumping it full of all the crap and the preservatives and everything else, and it just, like, from a chemical standpoint, what wasn't working for me. So I would drink a lot of imports. I was big into Guinness, Newcastle. And then we started the IPA craze, where we have a lot of local breweries and they have to pump it full of all those horrible preservatives and all the crap that sulfites and everything that make your head spin, or make mine anyway. And now I'm like, oh, it's all about the IPAs. I can drink American beer again and local beers. I mean, every time, whenever I travel, I just go, hey, give me the local IPA. Give me the local IPA. Love it. And to me, it's the best. It's the best of the best. But you can drink that Busch Light.
I totally – now I get it, though. Nathan just chimed in. This might have been what Lonnie was meaning. I forgot. Hulk Hogan has a new beer. And I saw that, yeah. And it is called Real American Beer. And I remember now, I saw the video. He was at the Hard Rock, I want to say, over the weekend.
Yeah, he was bartending at the Hard Rock, and he was at Walmart.
Yeah. And he was giving out his Real American Beer and all that. So
is that an IPA? I mean, do we need to try that? Do we need to
I don't know.
That? Has anybody had it?
I don't know.
If it's just another mass-produced American beer from, Budweiser, which is no longer an American company, I'm out.
It looks like it's just a normal lager because it says 4.2%. Okay. So it's just a regular lager.
And where's it made? Hopefully in America.
I mean, it's called Real American Beer.
Hey, that doesn't mean shit these days, buddy. That doesn't mean anything. Yeah, well, let's hope so. All right, let's take a break. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll hit the college baseball stuff. We got a really cool interview with Jack Caglione, which just absolutely fantastic for the Florida Gators, greatest player in the history. We'll hear from James Tibbs of FSU and talk a little bit about the College World Series. That was really, really cool yesterday. And I love Link Jarrett did something that I wish more coaches would do in college baseball. So we'll talk all about that. We are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. Speaking of Gators, Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. We know Scott Jeeves is a big fan of Jack Caglione. You got any issues, legal issues whatsoever, get that free consultation. They'll evaluate your case, tell you if you have a case. That's the Jeeves Law Group. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. JEEVES lawgroup.com. And the great folks at Hydrate Heroes. You got to try the new flavors are out. The Tropical Punch is absolutely fantastic. Only 5 calories, and it tastes great. All the electrolytes, all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff, none of that extra sugar, none of that energy drink stuff that'll make you crazy. It's just good stuff and keep you hydrated. HydrateHeroes.com. Go to Try Hydrate Heroes to get the free 3-pack. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business.
Take your business or nonprofit to the next level with the power of video. Red House Streaming offers complete production services to create your own perfect, eye-catching, attention-grabbing commercial. From initial concept to script to finished commercial, we'll handle it all and bring your vision to life. As your all-in-one production partner, we offer comprehensive marketing packages that not only showcase your brand, but amplify your reach. Contact Red House Streaming today.
Summer is here, and it's the perfect time to shine with the exquisite June birthstones, pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone at the Golden Diamond Source. Each gemstone carries its own unique significance and style, making them perfect for any summer occasion. Did you know the 30th anniversary milestone is pearl, the traditional stone for this special occasion? And right now, you can enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a stunning $5,000 ring and pay only $83 a month with zero interest for 5 years. That's a great deal. And shop online and get 15% off the June birthstones. And we love our partners, local businesses that have been here for 40 years. That's right. The Golden Diamond Source has been here for 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub have done so much in our community. We thank them and we shop there. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Happy summer. All right, welcome back. Yeah, enjoying a little bit of a snack there. Might do Father's Day. Love that.
That's dad by par.
Oh, if I can only make par these days, that would be great. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo over there, medical director, will get you right. Get a new primary care physician that will actually spend time with you and go over your blood work and go over everything. Like I'm talking an hour, hour and a half. How much you sleep? How do you sleep? What's your nutrition like? What's your exercise routine like? When's the last time your doctor went over all that for you and then gave you a personalized plan to make sure you stay healthy? Isn't that a better idea? Like just work on staying healthy instead of just going to the doctor and them writing a script and saying, hope it works for you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com, a much better way of addressing your health needs. All All right, so I want to get into a little bit of college baseball. What a run by our Florida Gators and Florida State Seminoles into Omaha. Both teams had really interesting seasons. The Gators started the season ranked second because they had a ton of talent and just kind of scuffled all year long. I mean, Florida State spanked them, swept them this year in the regular season. But late in the year, the Gators kind of caught fire and made it all the way to the Final Four of the College World Series. They had to win their last series against Georgia in Athens to get into the tournament. They did. Then they went to Oklahoma State, Stillwater, won that regional, and then went to Clemson and won that regional in an unbelievable game, walk-off fashion. So just to get to the College World Series. And yesterday, because of rain, they had to play 2 games. They beat Kentucky in the first one, but could not beat A&M in the second one. And what a season for Jack Caglione from Plant High School, literally, easily, by any measure, the greatest baseball player in the history of the University of Florida. And that's saying something, when you're talking about World Series MVP David Eckstein and so many great players that have come through there.
Matt Laporta, who was was there at the game yesterday. He broke the all-time home run record yesterday in the first game when they scored.
Friend of the show, runs. Matt Laporta, yeah.
Is he a local? Is he from here too?
Yeah.
Matt Laporta?
He lives here.
What I thought so.
Yeah, we've had him on the show a couple times. Great dude. Yeah, and he went to Omaha and took his kids there for the expressed reason, to see Jack break the record. And yesterday he did. He hit his 75th career home run, which we'll run down some of the numbers. That's 8th in NCAA history, the most in Gator history, obviously. First player ever to hit 33-plus home runs back-to-back in college seasons. First to ever do it. His 881 slugging percentage. Holy, 881 shattered the University of Florida record. And this is not, we're not talking about some small school here. We're talking about a team that's in a rich history of producing great baseball players. Shattered that record. He hit 419 this season. 419. Pretty good. He hit a 516-foot home run against FAMU that we showed you earlier in the year. That is the farthest recorded home run in the StatCast era. And of course, hell of a pitcher too. I mean, we could go on and on and on. What a career for this kid from Plant High School.
Yeah, don't forget 104 hits as well. I don't know if you got to that one, which broke the record set by Mark Kiger and Pat Osborne. It stood for 22 years.
That's a lot of hits.
It's a lot of hits in a season. So absolutely, he is not even just one of the best player to ever put on a Florida uniform, probably. I mean, the entire state of Florida. And I think, I have to go and look at some of the other records across college baseball, but at least in recent times, he's one of the more memorable players that I can remember in college baseball. Period.
Two-way player. I mean,
and probably going to be a top 5 pick. Probably no doubt about that when we get to the draft. What is it, next month? So
maybe the Rays could actually.
We will not. The Rays will not be picking anywhere near there. So
how do you know that?
What are you talking about? The Rays, it's all based on what they did last year. So the Rays are going to be picking later. And there's no such thing as trading when it comes to the MLB draft. So
I want to tank for we got to come up with a phrase, but you can't do that in baseball. Pretty smart way of doing it. I mean, there's so much homegrown talent, homegrown talent when you talk about Kyle Tucker and Brady Singer and all the Jason Romano clients. There's so much homegrown talent in the big leagues, and the Rays, outside of Doug Wechter, have never been able to garner any of it. That feels like a blind spot
of the local players. You're saying,
yeah, Pete Alonso. I mean, I guess you could throw Shane McClanahan in there because of USF.
I was going to say McClanahan. It definitely counts.
Where did he play high school? I want to say Sarasota or something.
Obviously, I know he was local.
I think he's a Florida kid, but I don't know if he's local. Was it the Land? I'm trying to remember where he's from.
Cape Coral.
High school. Cape Coral. Yeah. And
local.
We count that as it's ish.
Local-ish. But he played at USF, so I always counted it.
Yeah. So yeah, let's draft one of our own. That certainly would be nice to get I think Pete Alonso's available. You might go get him. Like a first baseman, a slugger, first baseman that can hit. Huh. That would be interesting. How much would that cost?
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Other teams do it.
Other teams.
Can we get one? Can we get one homegrown kid? One? No. Okay. Just wondering. All right. So back to Jack. Great interview after, which, by the way, so I'm scrolling through Twitter, and the great Kirk Herbstreit saw the interview and like, man, this is great about how this player loves his team and his school. I was like, yeah, of course you're going to highlight that, Mr. Anti-FSU. Hate that guy. Can't wait to see him in Ireland. F-U.
Oh, here we go.
All right, back to Jack Clyde. Let's show his post-game interview.
It's tough, you know. I gave all I had to this program. You know, I just can't thank coach and staff enough for what they've done for me. It's tough to talk right now, I'm not going to lie to you, but, you know, I dread the day that I had to take this jersey off for the last time, and I guess it's tonight. And I guess, you know, mentally I just wasn't ready for it, but it's kind of just how life goes.
As hard as it is, it looked like this morning you might have been the happiest I've ever seen you play in college baseball. The joy was just there. How difficult is it to kind of put that all in perspective tonight?
I mean, just not taking anything for granted. You know, we didn't know how much more time we had left. Either way you look at it, we were done after this, you know, whether that be holding a trophy or not. So, yeah, just trying to enjoy whatever time I had left.
When you look back at playing on this field and being in Omaha, you came so close last year, you got the 75th home run, you got the ball back today. What stands out about making it to the promised land in college baseball?
Everything. I mean, that's why you play for Florida. You know, we come here more oftentimes than not with Sully. So, you know, I couldn't ask for a better career. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to share it with.
Wow. That's powerful. You know, in the world of NIL and transfer portal, it's nice to see a kid that's loyal to his program, like we talked about Byron Brown yesterday or a couple days ago with Michael Kelly. It's great to see, you know, real emotion about that, you know, that jersey. That was fantastic.
There's a passion there. There's a passion there that sometimes gets lost in the modern day of college sports, but it was all right there.
Yeah. You know, and it is. And that's what I think many of us, you know, although we go into the NIL and the transfer portal wide open, wide-eyed, we understand what it's about. But yeah, like you spoke about last week, and philosophically, I agree with it. You know, you don't want high school sports to be about money. You don't want college sports to be about money. It's a huge part of the allure of the sport, to be quite honest, because of its juxtaposition with the greed and the huge money in the pros. But reality being reality, you know, and hopefully the smart people figure it out.
Yeah.
There's not many smart people leading college athletics,
No.
Just greedy. But that is refreshing to see. That is so refreshing to see, and tip of the cap to him. And
I was going to
what a career!
I was going to give credit, by the way. That was Darren Stoltzfus of WSH Central Florida.
WSH, yeah, West TV. Yeah, what's his name?
Darren Stoltzfus. He covered UCF kind of at the same time I was there. Does great work. So definitely.
Well, and I was going to say this: shout out to Wesh TV for spending the money to send a crew out to Omaha and get special coverage of the Gators, you know, and FSU. And that's a great way to spend the money. And I wish more local television stations would do this. Look at that piece of journalism that he just did that went viral. Because why? Because they spent the money.
755,000 views on Twitter, that video.
With your big Wesh TV logo up there. Was that worth it, Mr. News Director? Yes, it was. It was. And I will champion this till the day I die, being a local sportscaster, and the death of local sports, not only in newspapers, but on TV as well. Show me something that brings more interest than local sports. And don't tell me weather. Sorry. Love you, weather guys. But I
hold on.
I can get my weather anywhere.
Hold on. When Paul Delgado is giving me the weather,
we love Paul.
It's full timeout in the living room. I got to hear what Paul's telling me.
We love Paul. We love Dennis, and we love. Well, I'll say this: weather way above, and especially when there's hurricanes. You know, those guys. You turn to the local guys who have been there a long time because you got to sift through.
Right there.
You know, the great Steve Jervey for many years. I worked with the News Channel 8. I will give them their props. Those guys, and that's when they earn their pay. Yeah. They're ridiculously high pay. That's when they earn their pay. And I will tune into those guys, the experienced guys, because they know what they're talking about and they see through a lot of different stuff and will give you better information than you can get in just crunching the numbers. But I just mean in general, philosophically, you know, we have cut these news budgets or these local sports budgets to the bone. We don't even have, you know, the local sports coverage we used to have in the Tampa Tribune and the Times. I mean, of local high schools. And that's a shame. It is such a shame for the local high schools that you don't get this coverage, you know, like for instance, Jack Caglione. I mean, there's a guy at Plant High School. I'll just be honest with you. I hadn't seen a lot of his career at Plant because that used to be all over News Channel 8, all over Fox 13, all over Tampa, all over the local sports. We'd go out and do those stories all the time. And now they really don't have the manpower to do it. They try. Spectrum does a pretty good job of covering high school sports, but it's just there's not a whole lot of, you know, for the main stations. They don't do it a lot. They don't send crews to Omaha. They don't send crews to big college football games anymore like we used to. We used to travel with the Bucks every week. Every week we travel with the Bucks. And you get good stuff that you don't get on ESPN. I used to have news directors all the time go, oh, people can just watch it on ESPN. Why do I got to give you time? I'm like, hey.
Nobody wants to watch their team's coverage on ESPN.
And not only that, they never covered the Bucks.
Right.
Without Tom Brady here, they never covered the Bucks.
20 years on that network.
Yes. They never mentioned the name once. In case you didn't know.
And then when they started talking about him, I was like, ugh, please stop talking about us now. I can't take the misinformation.
Devin White is the best linebacker in football. Okay. Is that what it said in your little research that you did there in your rundown? Have you turned on the tape at any point in the last 2 years? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? No. Yes. So anyway, sorry for the tangent on that, but thanks to Wesh TV for going out there and sending folks to the College World. What a great opportunity. You got two huge teams there that you can cover and get stuff that nobody else is getting. Did anybody else? I don't know if anybody locally in Tampa did they?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for everybody. I'm sure somebody maybe did, but I don't know. I just know that these clips from Darren were definitely going viral.
Yeah. Nicely done, Darren. Nicely done. All right. Florida State, great turnaround season for Link Jarrett in his second year. Most 49 wins, most biggest turnaround in program history and in college this past season. He has done a phenomenal job, and he's done it with a huge group of Tampa Bay players. That is at the heart of this team. A lot of kids from Jesuit. Now, John Abraham started yesterday. He hadn't started in a long, long time. Put him in a really, really – it was a tough spot for him, and it didn't go well early on. But he's a young kid. He's a great pitcher. He'll be fine. He'll be back. He'll learn from this. And by the way, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. FSU just did not score runs like they should have. They had plenty of opportunities, but tip of the cap to Tennessee, a couple of incredible catches that took Dingus hit one off the top of the wall that I'm trying to remember the kid's name. He's going to be a high draft pick. Their center fielder just literally ran through the wall.
Oh my goodness. That set the tone for the I mean, it was already 3-0 at that point.
That's a two-run play right there.
But that got the crowd into it. That got their guy. I mean, they got their guys amped up because of that play. I mean, if a game could have ever been over in the first inning, yesterday was one of those examples
felt
where
that way, didn't it?
It did. It just you felt
even
so
with
defeated.
FSU's offense.
Yeah, FSU's offense just went quiet at the wrong time. And I know Tibbs and Cam Smith, who had been their best two guys throughout most of the year, they didn't really do much in Omaha.
They didn't, yeah.
And I know that they're going to be kicking themselves for that. But we knew FSU's biggest problem as we got to learn this team a little more was they just don't have much pitching depth right now.
Yeah, they don't.
They just don't. And if it didn't fall for Jamie Arnold in one of these big games, they were going to be punching upstream. And yesterday, having to go in there with a freshman who hadn't pitched in like 2 weeks, this is the number 1 national seed you're facing. There's just not much margin for error there.
Runs.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, kid, go out there and pitch. I think he's a freshman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Abraham?
Yeah,
kid, go out there and pitch a College World Series with an elimination game against one of the greatest hitting teams in the history of college baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not the best inning, but listen, in Omaha continues to just be the house of horrors for Florida State historically.
24 times.
24
but
times.
I will say this, they played some dumb baseball yesterday. I talked about Jose Siri. They had a runner on third, nobody out, chopper over the mound, and he hesitates, and he gets thrown out at the plate. That's a huge run right there early on in the game. Then they have, I think it was later on in the inning, they have a runner on third. Williams is on third, and there's a runner on first, 1 out, first and third, 1 out, ground ball to first, tags the base, and he doesn't even sprint through home plate to get the run because they're going to have to make a tag play at second base, and the runner going to second base doesn't stop. I mean, this is basic baseball again in these situations where you got to be thinking. And I'll give, Jose Siri has no excuse. You're a major league ball player. It's college kids on a big stage, maybe a little bit nervous. I'll give them a little bit of grace. But in that situation, they gave away 3 runs and another pitch. They threw away a ball with 2 outs at first base. The first baseman just whiffed it. It led to another run. Those were 3 runs right there that you just gifted. And in a game that was very winnable, late in the game, it was a 3-run or 4-run game. Those 3 runs right there makes a huge difference. It's a 1-run. It would have been a 1-run game and a lot more pressure on Tennessee.
Right.
So, and again, great season for FSU. Tremendous season. I mean, but those
look at
winning. That was
hard the minor. It's like I said, it's the minor details that get you.
Yes.
But no, I mean put the perspective in here. This Florida State team went 23-31 last year, including a 2-22 stretch at one point. We're talking about Florida State baseball, which historically has been one of the most successful programs for the last 4 decades. Okay, a 2-22 stretch last year. And they went on and they found a way to win 49 games, I believe. This season, hosted a regional and finished as the 3rd or 4th best team in the entire country.
Yeah.
So clearly Link Jarrett they needed a very important hire, coming on the other side of Mike Martin, and Link Jarrett has knocked it out of the park. Obviously they're going to lose a lot of talent to the MLB draft this year, but
they got a lot of good young talent. Yeah.
They got a lot of good young talent. I think recruiting.
They got Sheffield's kids coming in.
Yeah, Gary Sheffield's
There's a pipeline from Jesuit to FSU now, which is a good thing.
The recruiting had tailed off, I think, in recent years. I think that'll probably pick back up now, and they'll be set up well for the future. But listen, the college baseball is ruled by the SEC, folks. If you haven't gotten the memo yet, this is the 15th time in 16 years that an SEC team has been in the College World Series final. The 7th different SEC team over that span to get in. It's actually the first time since Tennessee's been in it since 1951, if you can believe it. All the success they've had.
Now have another national champion as they play.
Yeah. So, yep. So it's the college baseball has been ruled by the SEC. That's just been the trend over the last 15 years, and it continues.
Football too. Just means more.
Football too. It just means more. Damn it.
Just means more. More money. Yeah. All right. Let's listen into what do we got? James Tibbs here.
Yeah, this was James Tibbs after, and this is also from Darren as well from Wesh. Pretty interesting answer here that I think you're going to like to hear. Perspective again after a tough loss.
Oftentimes we see people give glory to God in the good times, but I'm going to give glory to God in the tough times too. He's blessed me with the opportunity to be at the best university in the country, and he's blessed me with the opportunity to play with a bunch of great guys and a great coach, one that I believe in and one that I believe will get it done. In 3 years, this program has seen quite the turn. It's been hard. It's been fun. And it's been everything in between. And I'll never be able to thank Coach, the coaching staff, and all the people that have made this possible enough for believing in me and for allowing me to be a part of it. The verse I've been preaching all year is Proverbs 16:9, and it says, "Man plans his path, but the Lord establishes his steps." And this isn't quite how I thought it would go, but I'm so blessed to be a part of this team and this year.
Man, could not be more proud of that young man. What a great, great testimony to his Lord and Savior, which is awesome. Love them being public about that, and to the program itself and what Link Jarrett has been able to do it. But two great leaders and great character young men right there. I mean, if you're not proud of your university, Florida State or Florida on days like this in losses, right? In losses, it doesn't always have to be the champion that wins the day. It doesn't always have to be that way. And I think everybody, at least in these two instances, they're winners. I mean, some people say, well, you didn't win the championship. It's a season is a loss. No, it's not. How do you look at the Florida season and the comeback that they made?
Oh, they were 28-27 and got into the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody was poking their finger, I'm sure us included, like, oh, why Florida's only getting in because they had all the preseason hype and they want Caglione on that stage and everything. Like, everybody was saying that. And I'm sure they heard the noise and they went out and they got hot at the right time. It's no different than in March Madness. A team gets hot and just goes on a run.
Right.
Like,
look at the
that's
schedule.
kind of what Florida turned into.
Look at the schedule they played.
Yeah, they had to earn it. They knocked off like 4 teams that were in the top 11 in the national rankings. So they earned every bit of it.
Yeah.
Once it got time to play.
Yeah, you go and take any team that wasn't in the SEC and play that Florida schedule. And, you're going to have double-digit losses. You're going to have 20 losses on that schedule. It's baseball, no matter how talented you are. And, yeah, it was – but they had to win in Athens on that last weekend. So, huge tip of the cap, both programs.
What I love most, even though there's not a Florida team that's going to take home that trophy, is this sport has been something that, I've always watched, kind of quietly because it always is played during a very busy time of the sports schedule. But I do kind of like it. The height of it comes as, the NHL finals are wrapping up. The NBA finals are wrapping up. It's broadcast right there on ESPN for everybody to see. And I love it when it gets the attention it deserves because I think college baseball, kind of how college football to the NFL, there's just an excitement factor there and an energy that you can't match in the pros.
Yeah.
And so I love that college baseball has been on center stage. It was the same thing last year when Paul Skeens was just blowing us away night in and night out for LSU, and you tuned in. And it's been the same way this year. So this is a very underrated sport that I'm happy is getting some pub.
And I'm glad you mentioned Skeens, who LSU made throw 2,000 pitches last year at the College World Series, not giving a crap about the kid's arm. And yesterday, Link Jarrett had an opportunity to pitch Jamie Arnold on short rest from Jesuit, their ace pitcher. And they correctly decided not to. Kid's got an unbelievable future. You don't want to jeopardize that future. It rarely works out. It's been my experience that it rarely works out in the big leagues or the minor or college when you mess up these kids' routines. And I think it's especially important in college and when kids are young that you don't overtax their arms. Yeah, and yes, FSU was going to have to win 2 games anyway. So they would have had to beat Tennessee tomorrow anyway. You got to have a good pitcher to do it. And Link knew that it was a roll of the dice. But honestly, 7 runs from Tennessee, you hold them to 7 runs, you could win that game. Now, Tennessee's got good pitching. They showed it yesterday. But I think Link Jarrett made the right decision and kept Jamie from pitching yesterday. And I think that was right. And I think that means something. And I think any parent out there who's got a pitcher and is considering Florida State will look at that moment and go, okay, he's got my kid's best interest in heart. It's not a win at all cost mentality. And I think that was a good move by Link Jarrett. All right, we'll take a quick break here at the top of the hour. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to hear from Michael Kelly. I thought a real interesting thing he talked about in our interview a couple days ago about USF's positioning to move into the ACC when and if FSU moves out. So I want to hit that a little bit. We'll also talk some Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield talked this past week. I want to talk a little bit about the new offense and where I think a lot of national pundits are missing the mark on Baker Mayfield. That and a lot more coming your way. We're brought to you by Extravaganza Productions, EPI. If you have an event coming up at the big birthday, you don't know what to do, you want to plan a big party, call the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. You'll be surprised what they can do for the money. And they'll come up with some great ideas. They got tremendous props in their warehouse, stuff you've never even thought of. So take the free creative meeting, contact them through the website, extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you and see what they can do for you. Whether it's a charity event, a business event, a birthday, whatever, large or small, they can handle it and bring something really special and professional to the event. Extravaganza Productions, best in the business. Back at 3. Stay with us. Summer is here, and it's the perfect time to shine with the exquisite June birthstones, pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone at the Golden Diamond Source. Each gemstone carries its own unique significance and style, making them perfect for any summer occasion. Did you know the 30th anniversary milestone is pearl, the traditional stone for this special occasion? And right now, you can enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a stunning $5,000 ring and pay only $83 a month with zero interest for 5 years. That's a great deal. And shop online and get 15% off the June birthstones. And we love our partners, local businesses that have been here for 40 years. That's right. The Golden Diamond Source has been here for 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub have done so much in our community. We thank them and we shop there. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Happy summer. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for tryhydrateheroes.com. That's our new website where you can get a free 3-pack of the great Hydrate Heroes electrolyte hydration drink, all for free. Just go to tryhydrateheroes.com. We'll send you a 3-pack. While you're there, go ahead and buy the 30-pack for just $29.99. Special going on, less than $1 a serving for all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. Folks, a lot of these hydration drinks have tons of sugar, tons of calories. Hydrate Heroes, just 5 calories, and they have all the electrolytes in there, plus other stuff that's going to benefit you. A mushroom blend that will help with inflammation. So much other good stuff in there.
none of the bad stuff. It's Hydrate Heroes. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com and get your free 3-pack. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out, and it is fantastic. They'll send you some. Just go to tryhydrateheroes.com. Get all the information there. Pick up a 30-pack as well. Try Hydrate.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Got my Hydrate Heroes right here. Oh, that's good. That's good. It's not like high C tropical punch where it's high fructose corn syrup, just really sweet, but it's got that fruit punch taste to it. But I don't like super sugary drinks.
Is this like a thing when you get older? Like you just like stop wanting like sugary drinks and stuff? Because like I'm only 25. I'm far from old, but I'm already at that point. Even when I get like a sports drink or something, I always get the 0 sugar.
Yeah.
And it's literally because of the taste. Like I can't stand you can't dare me to drink like a Gatorade or a Powerade ananymore. I can't
remember the last time I had a sugared soda. Like that to me, it's like, whoa. Now that's better than the aspartame soda, but that's what's great. This doesn't have any artificial sweeteners that are bad for you. It's naturally sweetened, and it's got only 5 calories, but it tastes like a sweet drink. Like it doesn't have that aftertaste, of a diet drink, an aspartame aftertaste. It's got all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. So go to tryhydrateheroes.com. All right. Do you have the Michael Kelly stuff?
Yeah.
Handy. Okay. So Michael Kelly joined us, USF athletic director, a couple days ago. Great interview. We have it up on our YouTube channel if you want to watch the entire thing. And Michael was really, really, really good, I think, explaining how he's positioning USF to move into the ACC without pissing off people at the AAC. I mean, everybody knows what the score is, right? Everybody knows we're trying to move up and get into the P4 conference or whatever's going to happen here. And I sense a very seismic shift in terms of realignment. I think that's going to happen in the next year. So this, the time is now. And Michael was very clear about saying that to the alumni. The time is now. And you have to go support this team at Ray J and in the basketball places, the most public places. So these other conferences can see there is a robust fan base here that will support the team and the program. So I think they've done everything they can at USF within reason to upgrade the facilities and whatnot and position themselves. But here's our little exchange with Michael Kelly regarding USF moving up. Michael, you mentioned P4 and Lord knows where this is all going. But as I've said many times, you're probably one of the top 1% most connected person in all of college athletics, which makes you the perfect man for the moment for USF. You've built the foundation now. The on-campus stadium is coming. The AAU, you are perfectly positioned. It's not me saying it, just me. It's national pundits are saying it as well. USF is on the rise. They are going to be wanted by the ACC, the Big 12. I know you have stocked your leadership there at USF with a lot of folks that are very familiar with the ACC and have worked there for a long time. Sure. And you've positioned yourself perfectly. If FSU, as we think, leaves for the Big Ten, this seems like a perfect fit. I know there's a lot of politics involved here. What can you tell us about that process and where you're at? With all due respect to the AAC, it's it is what it is. What can you tell us?
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, we gotta do what we can to do everything to be a leader in the American right now, and we are in many sports. We want to have that comprehensive excellence to kind of bring that attention to us. So we're focused on that. More than any one particular conference, I think the biggest thing for all of us here in Tampa Bay and USF alums to focus on is just the whole D1. They call it the Division D1. President Baker kind of threw out this whole concept of what D1 will be, because right now there's 363 schools at D1 level, and there's 133 of them that play football at the current FBS level. So that's a lot, right? It's too many.
Too many.
There's some that have two. There's some that have two, a lot more than us, and there's some that have a lot less than us. Yeah. And I kind of use the phrase internally and externally in my comments that there's a fault line coming, right? And we've got to be on the correct side of the fault line, because that's what my leadership wants from me. That's what our coaches want, that's what our players want, and that's certainly what the
community
alum
wants.
the community wants.
Yeah.
So, and when you put it all together, it's like, this is just kind of the time we all have to recognize that, and combine together to make it happen. And you don't just get it just by politics is part of it, winning's part of it, investment's part of it. All of it's important. There's no one magic thing, because sometimes it's a matter of timing. And the good thing is that we're putting everything into it now. We need all of us. We need you to keep trumpeting from the Tampa Bay media standpoint. The national, like you said, they're starting to hear the drum beat and see it. Our fans, our donors need to pack Ray J, pack the Yangling Center.
Yes.
Will us to win, if you will. And we all know it's kind of coming together. So what I will say is this: everything that's happened in the last 5 to 10 years that has provided more permissiveness to investing more and providing more to your student athletes in your program, USF has met that goal. You combine that with building an indoor, you combine that with building a new stadium, a new operations building, all that stuff that's coming in the next 3 years is just a really exciting convergence of so many things. So you can sit around here right now and be scared to death of the fault line, or we can all step up as a community and as a university and say, we're going to get there. We have the confidence to will that into existence. And we just have to recognize that this is your moment in time. I love history. I know you love history. It's like when you look back at whatever you want to study, 3,000 years ago, 200 years ago, wars, interesting biographies, careers, everyone has to recognize a moment in their personal life or in their professional life or in their era of time that you have to step up. I'm just here to tell you, in college athletics, this is the time for you.
This is the moment. Yes.
If we're holding back any powder keg or anything, it's like we gotta launch it now, because 5 years from now it's going to be too late. 5 years ago would have been nice. We're here. We're controlling our destiny as it stands right now, and I like it. Anytime you can make a case that you can say, look, AAU, Tampa Bay, the type of investment, the type of facilities we have. Hey, when we finish this stadium, JP, there's not going to be a better athletic district in the country.
It's going to be awesome.
And I don't just say that as hyperbole. It's just a fact. It'll be modern. It'll be adjusted and designed for the modern college student athlete, and to make it very efficient for elite athletes to train for whatever their goals might be, to reach the academic success that they need to make. And again, even the great schools that we all aspire to be that have amazing facilities, we're blessed with a little bit of youth that we've been able to control our real estate a little bit differently. That's not done. So we can create this very efficient USF athletics district that, again, I love admire and respect greatly the University of Florida per se, but even when they built some of these great new facilities, it's been a mile, 2 miles away from the hub. I just think, hey, a USF student athlete, when you build that thing within 300 yards where I'm talking to you right now, it's like, man, football stadium, lacrosse stadium, soccer stadium, baseball, softball, great arena, and it's all right here. And the Selman Center, how appropriate, is the heartbeat of all of that. So, like, if your heart of where you're doing your academics, your physical health, your coaches are all right here in the Selman Center for that legacy, and then you go to the football stadium, you go to the lacrosse. I mean, it's just an amazing, concise footprint that will be 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road will be whoever's talking to you in this chair for 20 years from now.
It might be you.
That was a really good era that kind of created this. But that's what we have to build. Hey, you control what you control. This is the time that we all need to step up as fans, as residents, as alums, as players, as coaches. We got to deliver. This is the time, and I think our people are up to the challenge.
Michael Kelly, right there. There's a lot said there, but you can tell how proud he is of positioning himself and where USF is right now. That's a pitch that's going to be made, or may have already been made in front of the ACC decision makers. It's pretty convincing.
Well, I have to get my dig in here.
UCF guy. Go ahead.
He was talking about having, concise and all the, the athletic village and everything within all 300 yards of each other. And, I'm just saying, if you've paid a visit to UCF's campus recently, there's a basketball arena, there's the volleyball arena, softball, baseball, football, soccer, all in one little area. He mentioned, it's already been. Don't let us get the lazy river now. Don't let us get the lazy river now. Gonna take over all of college athletics when we get that in. But But no, I understand.
Hey,
I
listen,
understand,
and that's
what
why
he means,
that's why UCF is in the Big 12.
Yeah, and yeah, I bring that up jokingly, but obviously it applies because UCF put themselves in a position 3 years ago when realignment started, and they were at the front of the line. After like the big boys that went to the SEC and the Big 12 and the Big 10, they put themselves in the front of the line. And from a USF point of view, if you backed it up 10 years before that, you would have been like, man, what the hell happened?
Exactly.
We got passed.
Exactly. Yes.
And so that's something that I think USF had to learn from. And at that time, and they still had to eat, a crap salad for the next couple years in the big two sports of football and basketball. But last year was a step in the right direction. And I think like all the things he mentioned, like you need support from the fan base and from the student body. And we've talked about it. It's very hard to do that when you have a football stadium that requires a 25, 30-minute drive during the day. And it is what it is. Raymond James is not a college football facility. And that's why the on-campus stadium is being built. And I think that's going to change that. But also, winning cures a lot of this stuff. It does. And what you've seen in the last year is, I think, a reinvigorated fan base that has come alive again. And I think the student body has come alive too. You saw what they did for basketball, the atmospheres that we saw throughout the year. And you got to build on that. And you're not there yet. So you got to focus on how can you dominate the AAC. Go out there this year and win a conference championship or get to a conference.
Make the first time ever.
Yes. It's one thing to win 6-7 games. It's another to take that next step and try to win that conference. And that's how you truly put yourself at the front of the line, along with all the other things.
Yeah. That's the thing in sports, for the most part, unless you're dealing with the committee in football, you win, you're in. And now even with the 12-team playoff, that's hopefully a little bit more set in that whole concept as you win and you're in. And like Michael said yesterday, if this system was in place, this 12-team system was in place, the way they're determining who gets in, and I can't go through all the machinations right now because I'm not absolutely sure on them, but he is. And he said 7 out of the last 10 years, the AAC football champion would have made the playoff if they had a 12-team playoff. So his point is, look, I know we got Alabama. They got some tough games on the schedule, but just win your conference. Win your conference.
Yeah. More often than not, the winner of the AAC is going to be that what is it? The at-large bid that gets it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year was the anomaly. That was Liberty, right? But every other year, it typically is the AAC.
Right. The highest ranked non-Power 4, I guess it'll be now, will get an automatic bid.
Right.
So there's along with the 4 to 6 SEC teams that'll be getting it. So it just, it's not a pipe dream. It's not a pipe dream. And with Byron Brown at quarterback, anything is possible. This kid is a freaking stud. And they've got some good kids in the portal that have replaced some of their talent. They're bigger up front on both sides of the ball. It's just, this ain't the same old South Florida. So, but the point is, if they still put 19,000, I know they averaged more than that last year. A lot of that was the 55,000 that they got for Alabama, right? So you can't have games where you have 11,000 people at Raymond James Stadium. That's going to look really bad to the ACC who's looking at USF. So I implore all the alumni, go buy some season tickets. They're cheap. Just go get them and go to the games. It's college football. You got a good team, an exciting team that's going to put up a crap ton of points. And most of these games should be fun and dramatic. What else you got to do on a fall Saturday? Support your team. This is the time. This is the time for all the bitching and moaning that you've done for 15 years or whatever it's been. Step up and support.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a big one too. And I think it actually happens to fall on family weekend on their schedule where they host Miami. This year. And listen, the Miami fan base can't even make it to their own home games. So I'm expecting a big turnout of USF fans for that one at home.
That's a big one.
That's a big one, especially look at the schedule for USF to start. Like they got to play Alabama and Miami within their first 4 games of the schedule. Too. Yeah, I mean Bethune-Cookman and Southern Miss. I mean, we know they'll more than likely put away those 2 teams, but having to play Alabama and Miami to start in those first 4 games, I mean, you're staring 2-2 in the face, but you're hoping that
Mhm.
you could pull off something against Miami potentially at home, and that would be a huge day. If I'm USF, you listen, you go game by game, I get it, but I consciously have that game circled against Miami at home. We'll see what time they get for it. That's a game that you got to pack that stadium. You got to pack
Mhm.
that stadium and try to get an upset against Miami. You want to talk about doing wonders for yourself? That's the one I'm circling.
Mhm. I'm looking at Miami's schedule and where the juxtaposition of this game. And who is there's an icon here who they play, and I don't know who. I think it might be Ball State.
Ball State. They played
Is that
Ball State the week before.
Okay, so they got the Gators in Gainesville on the 31st to open up the season. Then they got FAMU at home and Ball State at home. And then they go to Tampa. So, and then they got Virginia Tech at Hard Rock. Well, that looks like a Friday night game. Yeah, Friday night game.
Yep.
So there might be a little bit of a look ahead there to Virginia Tech, their first conference game.
Yeah.
So
And Miami's doing their typical thing, or at least everybody is in the polls where they got them ranked in the top 15 and all that stuff. So,
yeah,
which they never live up to.
Yeah. If there's going to be a year, Jesus, they're loaded from a talent.
But I'm just saying, if you want to establish yourself as something, regardless if Miami ends up being overrated or not, go out, beat that team. Kind of how they came close to getting Florida a couple years ago on the road. Remember, even though that was a bad USF team, they hung with Florida in the swamp.
Yeah. Yeah. As James says, yeah, but you can't lose to Temple at noon. This program needs to win now. I get it. There was some. Listen, last year was a good season for football. There's no question about it. It was a huge turnaround. But, and I hate to even say this, but there were some games in that schedule where they should have won, and some games
wins on the table,
and not, they didn't beat a lot of great teams. That's very beatable teams. So, but this is a step up, but that's just part of the, that's part of the process. As Bobby Bowden used to say, you lose big, then you lose close, then you win close, then you win big, right? So it's kind of that maturation process. You got to start winning games. And so now they're in that second level. They lose close to Alabama. They lose close to Florida. They lose close to some of these teams. They can play with them, and their talent level is so much better. Coaching is so much better.
Yeah, and listen, would it surprise me? Would it surprise me if this year they lose a game on the road where you go, oh, how'd they lose that game? No. They're going to have to play I know Tulane has lost a lot of talent, but they got to go on the road and play at Tulane, who's been really solid for the past, few years. That's a tough game. They're going to have a game where they have to go play FAU on the road. That's going to be a tough in-conference game. They kicked the crap out of them. That's like your new rival. There's probably going to be a game like that on the road this year that they do drop, and we all go, what the hell?
I'm going to be interested in watching every USF game. I'm not going to miss them. I'm going to go try to go to every home game, and most every road game I'm going to be watching on TV. It's going to be appointment television for me. No question about it. I can't wait for college football. Florida State's got a great schedule. Starts early.
You're so close.
Week 0. I know.
When is week 0? August. What is it? August.
Yeah.
August 24th.
Oh, my damn passport.
It's June 20th right now, so we're about 60 days out. Just a little below that.
Yeah.
I forgot. Are you going to the? I assumed you are. You're going to the Ireland game.
That's the plan right now.
You going to pay a visit to the College Game Day set?
Oh, you betcha. Do you know what I'm going to say when I get there? Tim, are you listening? Can you play it? You don't have the drop?
I don't think I have the drop. No.
No, Tim has the drop. Yeah, I can do it.
But I know it's the drop.
FU, and FU. I'm out. Going to get a Guinness.
You know it's going to make it even.
As my light drop.
You know it's going to make it even worse. Don't forget, Nick Saban is on the College Game Day crew now. So it's going to be even right front center.
No, I don't want to. He doesn't deserve an FU.
He doesn't deserve it. Even though
Herb Street deserves all of them.
Even though have you seen the stuff with Game Day that came out yesterday? Or I think McAfee revealed it. He has yet to sign a contract for 2024, and he had this comment: "I'm not right for some crowds," and the quote unquote distinguished CFB folks are definitely one of those.
Yeah,
I'm I don't know about how anybody else feels, but like the guy's there for energy. It's a pregame show. Everybody else, like I love like the hardcore talking of football, but there's always been that energy aspect that's part of that show.
Yeah.
That was lacking, and I think he brought it back. Like, why are people not want him on the show? How are you bothered by him on the show?
Because he said some things that I think it was Oregon didn't like. There were some fan bases where he took them to task a little bit, and a lot of them are thin-skinned. And when they get, their little panties in a wad, they get pissed off.
I think it's ridiculous.
I mean, kind of like Florida State and Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah, I mean, I get whatever, but like,
he deserves every bit of it, though.
I don't get the need. I don't get the people saying that we don't want McAfee on game day. I don't get that.
Well, it seems like Pat's a little butthurt by it, to be honest with you.
Well, I feel like Pat's had his feuds with those inside ESPN since he's gone there, obviously, and some public. Yeah. And let's be real. I mean, Pat sometimes he's no filter. Even when like some of the things he says on ESPN's airwaves, even I go, oh crap, I can't believe he said that. Like he truly doesn't care. But I feel like he's always getting like, the finger pointed at him. And I think he's probably just like, man, look at my ratings. Look at everything I do here. I have this, we built this, and yet everybody's like trying to like kick me off of this and that. It's kind of the way I'm like viewing it.
He and his group do not toe the left-leaning narratives all the time. And that's why Norby got his panties in a wad. And I was surprised that he lost that power struggle, to be quite honest, but he did. Because I think there's people at some point, you have to look at it as a business, and ESPN is just hemorrhaging money because of a lot of the things that they've done politically on the shows. They're just really, really hard to watch. Those used to be cash cows for them. And
it's the ratings just politically. I don't find any of their discussions to be like, there's no substance to them. Like if you watched any of their coverage, like I said, it's not even just that. It's just, if you watch the coverage of how they talk about certain sports, like they're just yelling at each other.
Right.
And it's just like yelling narratives out. Like we're having Chris Canty, for example, talk about the NBA and just weird things like that don't really make any sense. And it's just, I don't know.
Reporting JJ Redick and Doris Burke on the finals. I mean, just doesn't. And what happened to the other guys? Why aren't they around anymore?
I think the NBA ordered the code red on that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty positive, because Jeff Van Gundy was pretty vocal against the refs and stuff like that, and would keep it real on the broadcast. And I don't think the NBA liked that.
Yeah.
And now he's back into coaching.
Speaking of broadcasting, Tom Brady was on with Colin Cowherd yesterday, and I'm trying to get a glimpse into what he's going to be like as a broadcaster. And he had a moment here where I was just listening to him talk, and I'm going, wow, this sounds really fresh to me. I haven't heard anybody explain this the way, and the fact that it's coming out of Tom Brady's mouth makes it even more interesting to listen to. So let me pull this up. I'm going to try to cut off as much cow turd as I can here, and because the very long-winded question.
I give Colin credit,
and you were able in a better spot to handle this. But I have been arguing for years that number one receiver, he's indebted to get him the ball.
Always.
Talking about.
And I thought when Dak Prescott broke into the league, he was better without the great Desmond. Sometimes receivers are verbal.
Yeah.
But he's verbal. Brandon Ayuk is verbal on his soul. Me is too good not to sign.
Sure.
But I have always had this feeling, and if you could, subconsciously when Randy was there, he rewarded you. But was there a feeling sometimes, where's Randy?
Sure.
I want to make sure Randy's happy.
I mean, the question is, like,
you always felt like you had to do something to get them the ball. And if they hadn't touched the ball in practice, I'd make sure, oh God, hey, I got to get so-and-so ball, because I want him to keep running hard. And I want him to be ready for when the ball does come. And, you see it a lot in NFL games. I've been practicing a lot of these games. I want to see the best players touch the ball early so they can break a sweat. They can get into the flow of the game. And good coaches do that. When you script plays at the beginning of the game, you're saying, okay, you're the Niners coach. I'm going to make sure McCaffrey touches it either first or second in the game. I want to make sure Deebo Samuel touches it first or second in the game. I'm going to throw it to him quick. Somehow I know the ball is going to be in his hands so he can do something with it. I want to get him into the flow. So we would always try to script so that everybody would feel like they were in the flow of the game. The last thing you want is your number one receiver to go 2.5 quarters into a game and not see a ball to get one target, because he's going to get discouraged. He's got to go out there. He's got to break the huddle. He's got to run out 25 yards to his alignment. He's got to run down the field as fast as he can, try to get open. He's got to run back to the huddle. It's a lot of effort that he's putting into not getting the ball. And I think when you can reward that guy early in the game and figure out, okay, where is he at? How do I get him the ball? And there's certain guys that are really easy to get the ball to. Certainly the guys that line up closer to the ball, the tight ends and the slot receivers, there's way more route options for them. It's way easier to get them the ball because they can go to basically every part of the field. Whereas that perimeter receiver, he's got the sideline to deal with. He really can't break out. If he breaks out, he's got 5 or 6 yards to deal with. A receiver at the tight end position or in the slot, when he breaks out, he's got 18 yards to deal with. So you have much more space to get him actually the ball. So, it wasn't hard to get Welker the ball. It wasn't hard to get Edelman the ball. It wasn't hard to get Gronkowski the ball. It was hard to get a perimeter receiver the ball. If they decide that they want to take a perimeter receiver out of the game,
roll out coverage.
You just roll the coverage to them. You play cover 2. You jam them at the line of scrimmage with someone over the top, and it's very, very difficult to get that guy the ball. But that also gives up a lot of other things. And you've got to be able to take advantage of those things. And that number one receiver has to understand, okay, they're making a concerted effort to take me away. Therefore, my other teammates have to produce when they're playing these coverages.
Your thoughts?
I watched the entire interview yesterday live. And I don't know how he's going to be I'm more optimistic maybe than you for him as a broadcaster.
No, that was awesome. That was freaking awesome.
When he
I loved every bit
like,
of that. I was riveted.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and it was like it's obvious stuff, but it's like, yeah.
Well, it's obvious stuff a little bit, but at the same time, like I feel like I'm learning something when Tom Brady speaks, and that's what I used to love when he was here, and we would listen to the Let's Go podcast and break that down. He would sometimes give really illuminating answers, and I notice he does something, and it's so minor. Like he kind of runs through it really fast, and he makes his eyes go really big. And that's because he knows that what the hell he's talking about, and he's confident in it because he's the greatest of all time. He can give you any answer to the question. And I don't know, the way he says it, it's like it sounds so obvious, but he just puts it in like great terms. Like it's very easy to understand. But at the same time, I don't think, and this goes back to the whole thing about, modern day coverage on big media and everything. I don't think people do a good enough job of teaching the viewer about the game.
The obvious, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't do a good job. And some players, like for Peyton Manning, for example, we talk about him. He was nicknamed the Sheriff and all that stuff. One of the smartest players of all time. When I watch a Manning cast, and I know the Manning cast is kind of, different because it's supposed to be funny and entertaining and all that.
Goofy, yeah.
And a little goofy. But I don't get that feeling. And sometimes I do, but not enough maybe of like, okay, Peyton's going to teach me something right here. Whereas when
he does go into that mode,
when he does, what I'm saying,
awesome.
when he goes into that mode, you get it, but you don't get it enough. When I hear Tom get into that mode, I'm like I'm seated and I'm ready to learn about it because he just knows so much. And I think when he gets into that booth, like rather than arguing about, should Greg Olsen be the number one guy? Should Brady be the number one guy? Listen, the way I look at it, we got 2 of the smartest dudes that can talk football now.
And lots of
that are going to be broadcasting the game. We just need to find more of them.
Right.
Rather than worry about who's on the A team and who's on the B team. I don't care. I just think we just added another great asset, a football junkie, the greatest of all time. And I think he is going to add something to the broadcast if he can translate like this.
Well, and obviously that's a 3-minute answer or a 2-minute answer after Colin's 1-minute question. It's like my question to Mike Kelly, like get on with it. But he's got to be more concise. That's different. What he's doing there is much different, obviously, than what he'll be doing on the air. And my whole feeling is, will he be critical enough? Will he say, an offensive coordinator hasn't gotten Deebo Samuel the ball in 2.5 quarters? And I was thinking, and listen to him saying that, and then going, Mike Evans didn't get a target for the first 2.5 quarters in some games last year. Not when Brady was here. Brady got him involved early, right? I mean, even for a perimeter receiver.
I mean, Brady's never scared to and again, I know interviews are what they are, but he's already been pretty critical of the league. Remember he had the quote however many months ago about,
he's
quarterback position.
Yeah.
And he said it yesterday. There was another answer there. He talked about quarterbacks and how the way they're trained now is so much different than the ones that he watched growing up and how he is. And he name dropped himself, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, that generation of quarterback, having a plan for everything that could happen. Here's our plan going to the huddle. And guess what? If this safety here, if I think he's going to blitz, well, now I have a plan to do this. And a lot of quarterbacks just aren't wired that way.
Was he saying that these modern day offenses are dumbed down?
It seems like there's a lot of influence from the coaches and the schemes now.
Yeah.
Whereas the quarterback having the knowledge to know where I should go if this happens and so on. And getting to the line of scrimmage and having an answer for everything. Like preparation.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the big thing that he speaks about with the modern day quarterback.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair criticism.
I think it is too. Absolutely. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little golf with your auntie, Jane Geddes will join us. And we'll talk about short putts, how to make them, how Rory missed them, and the debate with Bryson DeChambeau, technology versus feel in the game of golf. We're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance, who just saved me a ton of money again. Found us a new homeowners insurance company that's just come into the market in Florida and dropped ours by about 25%. Dropped. That's right. Homeowners insurance dropped. So go to Italiano, 813-877-7799. They might be able to do the same for you. Free call, worth the shot. Let them do all the work. You save all the money. Italiano Insurance, in business for over 40 years. Great customer service. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business.
Take your business or nonprofit to the next level with the power of video. Red House Streaming offers complete production services to create your own perfect, eye-catching, attention-grabbing commercial. From initial concept to script to finished commercial, we'll handle it all and bring your vision to life. As your all-in-one production partner, we offer comprehensive marketing packages that not only showcase your brand, but amplify your reach. Contact Red House Streaming today.
Let's go! Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the good folks at the Golden Diamond Source. The summer sale is on. Thinking about getting that ring. Prices are really, really low right now during the summertime. So head on into the Golden Diamond Source and check out all the great inventory they have like 10 jewelry stores in one. Very easy to get to, right over the bridge if you're coming from Tampa. About 15, 20 minutes from downtown. So head on over to the Golden Diamond Source and get that ring. 5 years interest-free financing, so you can get a $5,000 ring for just $83 a month. So head on over there to the Golden Diamond Source and get something nice for your lady, for your man, for anybody. Golden Diamond Source. All right, our good friend Jane Geddes, your auntie. Have you chatted with her in a while, Nick?
Yeah, we went up to Charleston for a family thing last month and all that. So
that's right. I remember that. I love talking sports with Jane because obviously she's been there, done that, and won a U.S. Open. So we decided to chat about all things golf and a little tip here on making short putts, which you all should listen to. Here we go. All right, let's welcome in our good friend, major championship U.S. Open winner, Jane Geddes, who joins us here to talk a little golf and real estate every week. How are you, Jane?
I'm great, JP. How are you?
Good. We have just witnessed what was a bizarre U.S. Open at Pinehurst number 2. We previewed it last week. We knew it was going to be some crazy stuff, and it's exactly what we saw. And it comes down to the back 9, and there's our good friend Rory McIlroy, who has not won a major inexplicably in 10 plus years now. Bogeys 4 of the last 5, missing 2 short putts, and Bryson is there with an incredible up and down to win this. I know you watched it all. What were you thinking, having won a U.S. Open, watching this unfold on the back 9?
Well, it was a crazy week. I mean, I watched a lot of this Open. Interestingly enough, because I don't necessarily I usually watch the majors, and because it's just fun to watch. But I watched more of this Open than I've watched of any. Usually I watch a lot of the Masters, but I've watched more of this Open because of this golf course. And what's interesting to me about me watching it is that I don't really remember the holes because it didn't even matter. It was like every hole was crazy, right? Every hole, it's like, oh yeah, they got to drive in the fairway. Oh yeah, they got to try to keep it on the green. That was this Open, right? And for them to do that was a monumental task, right? So I thought that was like I loved watching that, whether or not people thought it was set up fair or not, whatever. From a golfer's perspective, I thought it was like you really had to play great golf. Anyway, coming down the stretch, listen, pretty much the tournaments are won on the back 9 on Sunday, right? I mean, it's just life. It's life on tour. It's life at majors. It's the way it is. I was rooting for Rory. I mean, I like Bryson. I like the new Bryson. I have to say,
the new Bryson we like. The old Bryson we did not.
Yeah, the new Bryson. The old Bryson. I don't know, but the new Bryson I like. So but I was rooting for Rory for the same reason you said, like inexplicably, like this guy, like he's a great player, right? And he showed it all week. He just had he had that walk, he had that feel. He was, and then he got to the backside, and all of a sudden his demeanor changed. Whether whenever it hit him, whatever leaderboard he saw, when it hit him, you could see it on his face, right? He just had this oh my, crap. I'm leading, and it was going back and forth and everything. But he was very close to Bryson, so he could hear what was going on, and that was very cool. I was wishing they played together, but they didn't. But listen, from my perspective of someone that has been there in tournaments, I won 14 tournaments. There's not one tournament that I won that I was not shaking, okay, on the last few holes, especially if I had to lead. Knee shaking, hand shaking, body shaking. You can't see it, and you're hoping nobody sees it.
But it's there.
But it's there. Oh yeah, he just couldn't pull it off. I'm going to tell you something. I felt terrible. I mean, like everybody else, but I felt it because
you've been there.
When he missed that first putt, wherever that was, 14 or 15, whatever. I mean, I was like, oh no.
Don't do this.
And it's just, don't do it. He was quick in his routine. He didn't look comfortable, blah, blah,
so
blah.
You
blah,
saw
blah,
a little difference in his routine.
So, I did. I did. I saw a difference in routine. I saw a difference in his body language, in his eyes, in just, I think he had a bad decision. What was the par 3 that he hit it over? I can't remember
Yeah.
the holes again because
I think it's
16 or
16.
whatever.
Yeah.
16,
17, yeah.
16, really bad decision with, again, mega adrenaline going. He had to have. And I know people have talked about this. How does this caddy not? How do they not have that conversation? Maybe they did have the conversation. Maybe they did, and he ended up going with the club that he wanted to hit. But I mean, at that moment, you are going to hit the ball longer.
Yeah.
Your caddy knows. Like you have to club down a little bit, or you have to, pick a different shot, or I don't know. So,
That was a mental error.
Ugh.
And we
But-
talk about the short putts. I mean, he had made 496 consecutive putts inside 4 feet, which is amazing. And he misses 2 in the last
he putted great.
3 holes.
Right,
I mean,
he putted great.
That's
Because in
insane.
the end, it takes pars. You look at a golf course like this. This was all about making pars, right? So the person that from day one, the person that that made the most and the best pars was going to win, and
Right.
that's really how it turned out, or did not, and that's what happened with with Rory. But
And Bryson, he has been so good with the driver, and he freaking on the range
Why?
flattens
What
the head of his driver on the range before, puts a new head on the driver, and then did not drive the ball well in the back nine, but got away with it. Like time and time again, he would hit it in the natural.
He got
area.
away with so much.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, he had one of those weeks. Like he never got a bad lie.
Never. And all
like,
that stuff.
percent,
Not one time
percent,
did it
right?
was it right up. Yeah, crazy.
No.
And so tell me about the up and down. Tell me about the up and down on 18. So he, terrible drive on 18.
Sick.
And he's got a 55-yard long bunker shot. That's the shot you guys fear the most, right?
I mean, listen, so I'm watching with a whole group of people. Our family was over and we were watching, and we're all so it's all happening, right? And he hit it in that bunker, and we're all like, "Oh, it's over, no way." Like you could not pick a worse shot. Like if I was going to pick a shot, please do not give me this shot to win the U.S. Open. It would be that exact one.
Right.
Like I don't even know what club I'd hit right now. I'd have to be like, what would I hit out of there? I mean, and for him to hit, I thought if he even if he just hit a decent shot, it was going to be a great shot, right? That was ridiculous.
Yeah, to 4 feet.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And right below
at that
the hole.
point, you can't even practice that. That's
No.
not something you go, oh yeah, let me go back into my practice. Let me go practice. I just worked on that one the other day. It's like, no, I mean, he's just pulling that one out of like, let's take a really good swing at this one and hope, I think. I mean, maybe he practiced, maybe, who knows? Bryson's crazy. Maybe he did. Maybe that was one he worked on, but he didn't mention that, and say like, oh yeah, I hit a practice shot out of there in the practice round.
I think he said, I committed to the chunk and run.
Amazing.
The chunk and run. Explain the chunk and run. What is that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's the chunk and run. Exactly. You catch it. You don't catch it great. You hope that when you hit it and it's short, that you have some topspin on it, right? And it's
just
going to
rolls
up
out,
there
right?
a little
The chunk
bit,
and run.
right?
Yeah. And then he made the 4-footer.
Right. And you go, oh.
Yeah. Unbelievable finish for him. And then the way he reacted with the crowd was just great. He's just like, I'm going to let everybody touch the trophy. And I think he did. And then, it was a great celebration. Cool. Let me just ask you this. I mean, there's going to be, if he continues to play this way, there's going to be this debate, and it's already there, about technology and his rigid robotic way that he plays. All of his club shafts are the same length, which is very, very different.
Yeah.
He does, he measures every backswing to a clock and knows how far he's going to hit a putt, how far he's going to hit a shot. Like everything is measured. And it's that technology, robotic way of playing golf versus feel. And for Bryson, it's working though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So my question is, when I was thinking about this weekend, watching as much of him as we did, I think you have to ask, like, what part of what he's doing is real and good, and maybe, how many kids out there are watching, or how many, younger players, not necessarily kids, but how many younger players are watching and going, how many are emulating his swing this week?
Mhm.
There's going to be a bunch, right?
Yeah.
And so, and at what point do you say, hey, maybe there's something to this? What can you take from what Bryson does and say, what works? Where is there a line that works? I think that one thing that people don't understand with Bryson's equipment, I'm guessing this, I'm not like an expert on his equipment by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm imagining that when you have shafts all the same length, and when he says, I'm hitting a 9-iron, all right, it's not your 9-iron, it's not my 9-iron.
Mm-mm.
All right. First of all, you got a shaft that I don't know what length he uses. Maybe know like what the actual length is of any iron, but that ball is going to go longer. He de-lofts everything.
Yeah.
He de-lofts everything he hits. Granted, he's able to hit it high, and I don't know whatever all the machinations are of his science,
Mhm.
right? It works for him, but what is hard to kind of match up to other people is saying, okay, he's hitting it, like I said, he's hitting a 9-iron ridiculously far,
Yeah.
whatever.
180
At
yards.
what point though, JP, when you how much, 190 or something?
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
what do you hit at 160?
I don't
What do
know.
you hit at
Like, there's
140,
like, how do you
130,
back it up?
120?
Yeah, to 120.
What
Yeah.
how many wedges do you have, and how many then shots do you have to have? And what do you do with your 8, 7, 6, 5? It's you hardly use them.
It's all in his backswing, like how far it takes it back.
Yeah, it's really interesting, right? I mean,
It is.
it's really
It's a
interesting.
completely different way to play golf. And then there's the
Yeah.
salty balls, which,
And there's
excuse me for
the
saying.
salty.
So, and I'm like, what?
I
We
heard the
talked
whole
about
interview.
this. Epsom salt. He puts his golf balls in a tub of Epsom salt, and then sees where the weight of the ball is, because I guess they're not all uniform, and then puts Epsom salt on it to even out the weight of each ball. And I'm maybe oversimplifying this or screwing it up, but anyway, he does that to every golf ball he uses, and so they'll fly straighter. I mean, at what point?
Wow.
Are we-
At what point? Well,
What
and I
is-
mean, honestly, at what it flies, some minutia amount straighter. I'm like, his analogy was like, oh yeah, like mud on a golf ball. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Like, no.
That's
I'm
dramatic.
sorry, like,
That makes a
I mean,
dramatic difference.
right. I've heard people do that before. But I haven't heard it, and I think I forget like the rationale around it. It was more a little bit back in the day to make sure the ball was like totally round,
Really round, yeah.
But right, and I think that's what he was getting at. But he was sort of saying like they're weighted on one side.
Yeah,
more
they're
and
weighted
everything.
on one side,
It's
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are going to be out there like
I just
putting
don't want
their
to be his
balls in
caddy.
salty
I don't
water.
want to ever be his
Oh
caddy.
my God!
I don't want to do.
Can you imagine? No, thank you.
Did you
No,
put all the balls in
it's
the Epsom salt
exhausting.
last night? Oh,
He said his
damn.
manager does. He said his agent does it. He said
Oh
his
my
agent does it.
God.
Yeah.
No,
He's
thank
like,
you.
well, I don't really have to do it now because my agent does it. I'm like, oh my
Okay.
God, this poor
I
guy.
didn't have that
Yeah.
on my agent checklist today. The salty
I
balls.
know.
All
It's
right.
crazy.
So I wanted to do
Anyway.
as we go forward, I want to do like a tip of the day for the amateurs. So I think this week,
Great.
in honor of Rory, this is so mean. So mean. We're going to say, give us some tips for making the 4-footers under pressure
Yeah.
with the $2 Nassau on the line. What do you have any couple tips for just making short putts? What's your
Yeah.
strategy?
So in the end, I mean, and I'm listen. In the end of the end, I'm pretty much a field player, right?
Right.
But the one thing that I always fell back on was my routine, right? And I know that for amateur golfers, it's sort of like, yeah, people say that, but they don't. A lot of amateur golfers that I play with and stuff, they don't necessarily have a routine. And I don't mean have a routine that is like you like Bryson. I don't mean all that with the club and this. I don't mean that, but it's more. Okay, I'm going to stand behind the ball. I'm going to look at my line. I'm going to step up to it. I'm going to do one practice swing. Or a practice stroke. I'm going to put the putter behind my ball. I'm going to look at the hole once or twice, and I'm going to hit it. Simple. I mean, I don't even do that much. I don't even take a practice stroke. So I stand behind it. I'll tell you mine. I stand behind it. I look at, I put my putter down, look at where I want to hit it. I look again and I hit it. So I think for the average player to just have a little bit of a routine, and you can get that if you stand on the putting green for 5 minutes before you play.
Right.
You can just make sure you're thinking to yourself, especially if you're in a match or something, right? And the next part of that, accelerate. So once you're over the ball, okay, what the easiest thing to do, and I haven't relooked at Rory's stroke and what happened, but I'm thinking that over all those 400,000 miles of putts that he made, he was accelerating really nicely. And I would imagine on this stroke,
he came out of that.
I know he was a little bit off his routine, and he came out of it a little bit, and he de-accelerated a little bit. Again, when your hands are, when you're feeling it and your hands are, and you're tense, it's really easy to do that. And relative at every level, JP.
Yeah.
I mean, for the average player, for the amateur golfer, for us, it's all, I always say that golf is very, very relative. We feel the same thing that an amateur golfer feels, nerves and in front of people, and where amateurs say, "Oh my God, I feel nervous." Well, we get in certain situations as pros that we get nervous too, and
stick to the
this is a good
routine.
example of it.
Kind of takes the nerves out of them. Do you line up?
Exactly.
Do you use the lineup device on the ball and your putter to do your
I do
line?
not.
You do not.
I do not. I do not.
You pick a point on the green, and you aim towards that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pick a spot around the hole, and then what I also do is I look a little bit in front of the ball for a spot that I want to hit it over.
An aiming point.
Maybe about that. Yeah. So, and what I do, and sometimes I actually, because I have a tendency to move, sometimes I'll look at that spot when I putt. So instead of looking at the hole, ball, sometimes I just look at that little spot, and it's only a little bit in front of my ball, and then I'll just make sure that I accelerate over that spot.
Oh, that's a good
It helps
tip.
me accelerate because I'm a big de-accelerator.
All right.
So I have to really do that.
My putting's been so bad. I got to try something different.
Try this. Try the spot in front. It really does help. I started doing that like a year ago, and it really does help.
All right, quick note on interest rates, or I want to ask you about these new incredible condos that are going up on Bayshore and all around Tampa that just opened. Altura, the Ritz residences that are breaking all these records for condos.
Yeah.
Have you been inside these? What's going on with these?
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
We have a client that just closed on the Ritz residence. It's absolutely beautiful. The building's beautiful. All the amenities are, it's a Ritz, right? So beautiful amenities. Really beautiful building. This was early on. It was like 1.7, but not now.
Not now.
This was 3 years ago.
This like
right?
6 million, right? I think they're going
the penthouse sold for like 6 or 7 million. Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy, right? And Altura just opened again. Beautiful building, amazing views, and all these buildings have such spectacular amenities too. Great pools and yoga studios and dog parks and pickleball courts, and it's like
that kind of money. They better,
right?
Yeah,
they better like feed your food. They better cook you dinner too, right? No. So actually, the Ritz has. I think the Ritz. I'm pretty sure the Ritz has breakfast every morning for its residents. So there you go.
It's worth every million. Worth every million.
Exactly.
And what's going on with interest rates?
Yeah, so I heard a really interesting thing today. Barbara Corcoran, who is renowned real estate person out of New York. Yeah, Shark Tank. I heard her today, and she said she had an interesting thought and statement. She said, I'm thinking that rates are going to go down a point this year. This is her talking. She thinks they're going to go down a point this year. And she thinks when they go down a point, say to 6%, that there is a sort of a sweet spot that people have in their mind that, that's going to work for me. 6 is going to work for me. And she said, once we hit that sweet spot, she said, prices are going to go straight up again.
Yep.
So her point is that if that is kind of where you believe that the sweet spot might be, which, by the way, I agree with her, then her point was, you have to then weigh that, right? Am I willing to wait and, allow the prices to go up, and then, okay, I'm going to pay more.
Well. Yeah.
I'm going to pay more, right? There's going to be more, but I'm going to.
And you may not get the house you want. Yeah.
Exactly. And what she said is that she feels like there's a decent percentage of people on the sidelines just waiting for that sweet spot. And I agree with her, JP. I think that's where we are right now. And, so you play the game. We've talked about this. You play the game of, should I wait or should I not? And so anyway, so I'm here again. We talk about this every week, but I'm here. If anyone has any questions, I say this every week. If someone just wants to give me a call or write me an email or send me a text or whatever and just say, hey, I just have a question. I would love to. I'd love to do that. Of course, there's it's nothing attached to that at all.
GordonGroup.com, and you can email her right through there. If you have any questions at all, she'll chat with you about all things real estate. No cost at all. All right, did you learn something there about your putting? I'm definitely going to use that. My short putting has been so bad. You're on mute.
I said, yeah, she explained that to me last time, but I played golf last week in a little bit of a tournament in between my friends, and me and my partner came in first. So I'm feeling good about myself right now. And I was knocking some putts down.
Yeah, on those short putts too. It's like you decel and then you come out of it. So short back and then accelerate to the hole.
Yeah. And I don't overthink it anymore.
Rory.
I just walk up, take a look, and I just go. The longer I sit there and keep looking, nope.
Yeah, I agree. All right, partner. Great stuff as always. Appreciate you. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget, if you ever miss anything, you'd always enjoy this show as a podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Please like and subscribe. And please do the same at our YouTube channel, The JP Peterson Show, and also on my Twitter now, the new one, The JP Peterson Show. Jump on over there. Please like and subscribe. We will see you tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. Have a great day.